2 and 1. I will stand upon my watch, and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Kol Halo Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I have a couple videos. This video right here, you can see the title, the name. This is Danny. This is Danny Haiphong, and the video is called Israel's Last Stand. Iran's threat stuns IDF. War fears rise as Trump rearms with Mohammed Morandi. So this is Professor Mohammed Morandi bringing you the news of Western Asia. All right, the news of Western Asia, which they fraudulently have called for the last 100 years, for the last century. You know, basically they've called it the Middle East. All right, which is a made-up social construct. All right. That's exactly what it is, to try to fit their narrative of the created races, you know, this whole black, white, yellow, all that madness that they created, this color scheme. All right. Those are, which are not biblical. Remember, there's no such thing as white people. There's no such thing as black people. They made that shit up. All right. And they made it up to advance the false and very wicked and malicious ideology of white superiority. So that's what they did, to try to actually take the demographics of Western Asia and North Africa, which were full of dark melanated people. The people of Asia were just as dark as the people of Africa. All right, before Alexander of Macedon, the Edomite, the Macedonian, the Amalekite on top of that, conquered Asia, the portion that you call the Middle East and the portion that you call Europe today, hence the term Eurasia, and different parts of North Africa. He set up garrisons and set up his men. That can be found in the Apocrypha, which is one of the main reasons why they removed it. So I'm only going to play about 5 minutes of this video, and then we're going to jump into the scriptures and close this thing out. So without any further ado, Danny Haiphong and Professor Mohammed Morandi. Turn it up a little bit. And
welcome back to another live stream. It is your host, Danny Haiphong, and I am joined today by Professor Mohammed Morandi, joining me from Tehran. Professor Morandi, thanks so much for joining me today.
Hi, Danny. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Great. Everyone hit that like button as we begin. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Of course, you can follow this work in the video description below. But we're going to get started. It does feel like it's either the calm before the storm, or we are simply in the eye of the storm when it comes to West Asia, Professor Morandi. Iran just announced Operation True Promise 3 is on schedule, and Trump's Undersecretary of State, Eldridge Colby, a noted China hawk, has promised the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee that the military option is on the table. Now, we also have top generals pressing Trump to support an Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facility as hysteria against Iran's nuclear program, or so-called nuclear program, reaches fever pitch. So, Professor Marandi, what is the actual state of the situation in West Asia vis-a-vis Iran? Israel seems to continue to panic.
Notice he has not said the Middle East, because the people that are from that region refer to it as Western Asia, because it is Western Asia. Eastern Asia is over there with Japan and China. Western Asia is where the land of Israel sits.
About Iran's capabilities, and of course, Donald Trump's address yesterday said very little about any of this. Your take?
It's pretty clear that the United States does not want to get into a fight with Iran. I think those who are a bit older, I don't know how old you are, but those who are a bit older recall that when the United States took Afghanistan and occupied the country, and then took Iraq and destroyed that country too, they literally surrounded Iran. And then we had a senior American official say that real men go to Tehran. But that never happened. So during the 1990s, at the height of US power, when the Soviet Union had collapsed and the United States had defeated Saddam Hussein in Kuwait, that period was a period when Iran was much weaker than today, and the United States was much stronger. Then, after 9/11 and after the occupation of Iraq and Afghanistan, Iran was literally surrounded, and Iran, relatively speaking, today was weaker, and the United States was stronger. But back then, the United States never dared to attack Iran because they knew it wasn't a war that they could win. It would have been devastating for Iran, it would have been devastating for the region, but it would have also been devastating for the United States. And that's why I think it's pretty clear that the United States does not want to attack Iran. I think that's the main calculation that Biden had, Obama had, Trump previously had.
So, in case you weren't really paying attention or you didn't get it, some of you are slow. So, this isn't for those of you who realize what you just heard. What he's saying is when Iran was weak, United States didn't attack them because they didn't want no smoke. Giving you the layman terms. Now Iran is very strong, and it has some very powerful allies. So right now you really don't want to, deal with them.
And if the United States could attack Iran and win, I have no doubt they would have done it. The same is true with the Israeli regime. The Israeli regime actually is much weaker than the United States, simply because it's much smaller. It's far away.
Not the Israelis are extremely weak and helpless without the United States. That's why you have these NGOs in America that are made up that are Jewish NGOs, to be exact. That there's so many of them, and they have so much influence within over the government, and are all in and within the government. All right, because they're true alliances to the land of Israel. Most of them also have dual citizenship. And Israel must be over there so that they could have a grip in that portion of the world so that they could forward white superiority and the fraudulent ideology that they continue to push. All right? Because the world knows that, they're not the people that are written in the book that they claim to be. They follow Talmudian law, and they're not the ancient Israelites. The world knows that, but the world is starting to speak up now. The fear is starting to leave people. It's just that time. The Lord said this would happen. The veil is being pulled back that was cast over all people. The lies. Okay, all the lies that were told are being struck down. Okay? And matter of fact, let me grab a scripture. Let's go to Isaiah. Verse 10 and 11, and it reads, all they speak that say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? So, not only is Israel shown that it's weak, it couldn't even stop Hamas. Iran, it couldn't stop any of the weak missiles that they sent. What would it do against their really good stuff? They didn't even send their good stuff. All right. Verse 11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials and the worm is spread under thee, and worms cover thee. So, as you can see in the title, Israel's last stand, threat stuns IDF, war fears as Trump rearms, and worms, are associated with death, the decay that comes after death. So basically, these people are already the walking dead because this war is inevitable and they can't survive it, which is why they had, this Samson plan, whatever that, and if you read the scriptures, not the Talmud, but if you read the Holy Scriptures, Samson does a last great feat, takes out all his enemies, but he takes himself out as well. Okay? In doing so. And that's basically the mindset. And Esau has that, well, if I can't have it, no one can mentality. And not only over there in Western Asia, but basically to the whole world. Meanwhile, Trump is like a wolf pissing on every tree in the forest. He's pissing on a tree of Canada. He's pissing on a tree in Mexico. I watched the video where the Mexicans closed their border. Lord's will, I might do a lesson just on Mexico's stand, just them, that one nation versus America. All right, so, the whole world is rising up against the beast, against the whore. Why? Because everybody's had to go to the hospital, to get them penicillin shots because they all got gonorrhea and whatever else from dealing with this whore. All right? Because she's taking it every which way and then from every guy and then passing it to the next guy. And they all drink her wine, believe in her. Oh, I'm safe, I'm clean, baby, it's okay. Oh, I'm on the pill. Right? Now you got this polluted disease and a polluted disease baby, and you got to pay, child support in the form of tariffs to these people. The nations are tired of them, man. All right? Let me play this video. And this is Canada, and this came from my I have my own private investigative reporter, the Water Beloved. She's always sending me this really good stuff.
Going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it. It's unfortunate. I would rather ship you more electricity, ship you more critical minerals. I want to ship you more energy, more potash to keep your farmers going, and uranium that you use for your nuclear power. It comes through from Saskatchewan over to Ontario, and it's going to be a massive, massive problem.
You are ready, sir, to go to war, to go to a trade war with the United States, with the Trump administration.
We will respond like they've never seen before. You need our uranium, you need our potash, you need our high-grade nickel. I will stockpile our high-grade nickel, that 50% of your military and manufacturing needs, your aluminum, the steel, the lumber. It will be an absolute disaster. And this is all due to one person, that's President Trump. I will stop shipments going into the U.S. for nickel. It will shut down manufacturing because 50% of the nickel you use is coming out of Ontario. I've ordered our bureaucrats to cut off tens of billions of dollars of contracts. I'm going after absolutely everything. We keep the lights on to 1.5 million homes and manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota.
Damn.
If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, they're going to feel the pain like they've never felt before. Canadians are resilient, we're strong, we're proud, and we're going to fight back like they've never seen before. And I'm sorry to the American people that your president has decided to do this. I apologize, but he's giving us no choice. But when one person attacks our country unprovoked, then we're going to respond, and we're going to respond like the U.S. has never seen before. I will.
And see, all this is on the table, man. And Americans, collectively have benefited over the decades from the dirt that its country does. This is why everyone hates Americans. And for the most part, when we say that, we say it loosely because what that really means is that people hate white Americans. And I'm just being brutally honest. Because, the world, even though they can't stand, the Israelites, they know that they don't control policy. And the world also knows that we're oppressed and victims over here in this country, which supposedly is ours. The world knows that. All right. When the world, so they really show that unless you are a Negro, Latino, Native American, that's all rah, pro-American. But the majority of the world knows that we're victims over here, especially the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negroes, Judah, Benjamin and Levi. All right. The ones that are here in the Americas. The world knows that they're how they're mistreated here. All right. So let's just jump into these scriptures and wrap this up. This is back in Habakkuk 2. Let's read 4 through 7. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith." See, Edom is just wicked. He's not right. He can't get right. It tells you in the land of uprightness, he will still do wickedly. That's over in the land of Israel, in the Holy Land. They don't follow the law, statute, commandments over there. They have kosher pig. They got Pink City, all right, and all manner of wickedness. They harbor sexual deviants from America and protect them. They run back to the land of Israel because in their Talmud, that's okay. All right, verse 5. "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth of himself all people." See, he wants to control everything, bring all people together, say we're one people, but with us in charge. And just like, if a little bit further in the video, Professor Morandi says that he talks about how when they went into Syria, see, when they defeated Syria, they knew that they wouldn't get retaliation from Syria, so they went into there and just destroyed everything. And they know that they wouldn't be able to do that in Iran. And one of the main reasons they went into Syria and they were destroying relics that prove the ethnicity, the darkness of the people who were there during the time of the prophets, during the time of Moses and Joshua and Joseph, and in that time. They wanted to get rid of all the relics, which surely shows you that the Israelis, that they had nothing to do with that land. They were living in northwestern Asia, in a portion of Asia that they call Europe, and they're not even from there. That's not even their home. The original home is actually from Jordan in Petra and Mount Seir. All right. Verse 5, yet also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires. Hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather to himself all nations and heap to himself all people. They can't stay at home. They're always going into somebody else's land, trying to take something or control something. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So they've always tried to increase and make themselves wealthy off of what's something that doesn't even belong to them. Charge you payments, and then charge you and create payments, and then charge you interest when you can't pay them. Look at the Title 4D program. You know, and now they're in debt. How can you demand anything from anyone when you can't pay your own debts? All right. Shall not all these rise up suddenly, and shall bite thee, and awake, and shall vex thee, and thou shalt be as booties unto them. So everybody's about to spoil the land of Israel. Everybody's about to spoil the Americans. Everybody's posed for war. Like I said, you saw what the Canadian premier said. Now, and I watched the video yesterday, and Lord's will, tonight or tomorrow, I'm doing a video on that on Mexico. And the violence and the things that are happening to white people in America too. You notice that stuff's not happening to the other people visiting from America. It's mainly happening to white people. And that's just a scary, inconvenient truth for them. All right, because a lot of them are trying to run down there and move to the South America, and they're really setting themselves up for a trap, because some people don't like you down there. They really don't, collectively. And you're going to find it out the hard way, those of you who ran down there. But now let me go to Revelation. Because the nations are angry, man. They're tired. And he said, you want to declare war and to ruin our families and our economy, we're going to strike back. That's what the Canadian premier said, Revelation, and he's not, and that's how the other nations feel, because Trump, EU, and NATO has just literally been destroyed. And eventually what they're going to do is realize that the sensible thing is for them to just join the BRICS, and that's exactly what they're going to do. All right? Because the scriptures are clear. As I read, it says, and the 10 horns, this is Revelation 17:16, and the 10 horns, NATO and EU, is a big part of that, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. This is how I know, how you know that the statement I just said prior to this is true about the EU and the NATO. EU and NATO are going to, they hate the whore, so guess what they're going to do? They're all going to aim their weapons at America. It's prophecy. Let's go back to Habakkuk. This is Habakkuk 2:8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So basically, you know how the YNs, with the shiesties on, jump out the car when you stand on the bus stop, all right? Or when you walking down the street and they roll up and hop out, and run at you with guns in their hands, making you break yourself, run your goods, empty your pockets, share your wealth, hand over your jewels, however you want to say it, or they say it all confusing like somebody from Philly. You can't understand a damn thing they said, but you can figure out they want your shit though, all right? It says, woe unto him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and thou hast sinned against thy soul. So for this wickedness that you've done against the nations are in retaliation. Big retaliation. Let's jump up to 14 through 16. Habakkuk 2:14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh, as the waters have covered the sea. All right, the men of the Lord are making a huge impact here in the world. All right, and the nations are awakened, and a lot of the talking points that the nations have against Esau, Edom, all right, the so-called white man, against America, against the imperialism, against capitalism, against democracy. A lot of the complaints and the points that people are pointing out in the world, even the conversation that Professor Miranda and Danny Hafong are having in this interview. No one was speaking like this before the men of the Lord went on the internet and started exposing Esau, Edom. So this is a direct result of the truth coming out. This prophecy, it once again, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, and puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken, also that thou may look upon his nakedness, what I just said. The democracy, the capitalism, all the trans this and the trans that. This medical system, which is done nothing but sicken people through jump shots, all right, through band-aids, with the bad food, making men and making penises shrink, making women not be able to conceive. This man is anti-life. He's always talking about some anti-semantics. These people are anti-life. Verse 16, last scripture, we'll wrap it up. Thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. And the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. The embarrassment of their murderous, imperialist, colonizing history, the thievery, how they really got their wealth and how they really became a power. All right? So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharallah, Abba, Baba.